Good Sunday morning. Good Sunday morning to you. Welcome into the Kinetic Hi-Fi Studios here in the beautiful Avondale District, Charleston, South Carolina. Welcome in Sunday, June the 1st, 2014. Big day for you. You've got us for the next 4 hours. Sit and Spin Radio taking over KineticHiFi.com. Got myself, Drew Howard, for the next 2 hours, 9 to 11 with the Drew Howard Show. Got a lot to get into today. We're going to start off with the big topic, of course, Obama releasing 5 Gitmo detainees to get 1 American POW back. Obviously, I'm happy we got an American POW back out of a prison camp there with the Taliban. However, you're seeing the GOP really attack Obama for releasing 5 Gitmo detainees over from Guantanamo Bay. We're going to get into that, and we're getting into the real reasons why I think this happened. I think it has a lot to do with the VA scandal. I think this is just another look at trying to dissuade the public from the real outrage there of us killing veterans by saying, well, look, we got a veteran back. I'm doing a lot of good things, you know, kind of like the false bin Laden raid there to gain him support. But we're going to get into that. I got a lot more stuff I want to get into today as well. Let's go ahead and start off with the VA scandal that's going on because I'm still sick of it. And we played this yesterday on the Weekend Sit and Spin, yesterday, Saturday morning. And I just want to go ahead and play it right now. This was Montel Williams up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, going off about the real reasons. And it's not political. It's not Democrat, Republican. This is issues we need to get fixed. We need to take care of our veterans. And I'm going to play the Montel Williams clip.
I want to say thank you for letting me be a part of today. Okay? Second, I'm trying to launch something today. And on a great, joyous day, it's a tough time to bring us down to something heavy, but we need to talk heavy for a second. There is some form of, I don't call it this, hear me, some form of war being waged against us, veterans. We're being used as political pawns.
Yeah, the Southern Poverty Law Center's already came out and said that veterans were number one terrorist group.
At all. What I care about is the fact that this country lives up to its obligation to all of us veterans and provides the care we deserve. Something that some of you guys don't know about me, in the last 4 years, I've done over 30 visits to Walter Reed, sitting bedside for almost a 3-year period of time.
Pause. Yeah, and again, of course there's a war on veterans right now. We see the Southern Poverty Law Center coming out and labeling veterans as one of the number one terrorist groups to watch, along with conservatives, Christians, libertarians, gun owners, constitutionalists, people who wear tri-cornered hats, you name it. You know, if you want to support the veterans and you think that their service is admirable, that we should take care of them, we should reward them for their sacrifices for our country, well, you're a racist, hate monger, sexist, homophobe, you name it. Put whatever adjective you want there because you're just not a good citizen. You know, we want to canonize our veterans when they're in their service, when they're on the field of battle. We want to, you know, parade them around at every Super Bowl, show the videos from Afghanistan and Iraq saying hey to the families, show them at Christmas doing that. But then anytime the veterans come home, we want to put them out of sight, out of mind. We want to forget about them. We want to put them on death lists all around the country. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, he's screaming, he's yelling. It's passion. That's the way people are supposed to be. You're not supposed to be neutered by the hydrofluorosilicic acid in the water. You're not supposed to be neutered by the estrogen mimickers in the plastic. You're supposed to get passionate. You're supposed to yell. It feels good. Try it. Just go, ah! Let's get back to the video.
Every single month, trying to see every single soldier, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, that came home. No.
Hit pause. He's sitting there, don't thank me. That's what he's supposed to do. He did his service in Vietnam. You know, he's been blessed. Had a hit TV show for 10 years, interviewing Sylvia Brown on there weekly. Montel's been blessed. He just wants to give back. That's what you do. It's not, you don't have to tax people to get them to do the right thing. Altruism doesn't come from a place of force. It comes from a place of wanting to give. And no matter how much the government tries to tax people and take away, you're not going to replace it or you're not going to take away and get more from people than what they're going to give willingly. That's the problem. Charity can never be forced. And got Radio 2 in the chat box. Hello, Radio 2. Welcome in. Glad to have you. But you're never going to get as much. Like we see, every time they lower the tax rates, you get more returns into the Federal Reserve each year with the fiat tax returns. When they lower tax rates, you get more people giving your tax money. Whenever you have less forced giving, you get more giving from charity. Charity comes from the heart. It doesn't come from the barrel of a gun. That's where Mao says political power comes from. Let's get back to the video here, yeah. But it's the thing is, you don't have to thank people for doing the right thing if they're good people. That's what we're getting at. Let's get back to the video.
That's expected of me.
Exactly, it's expected.
That's not. I don't want to fall for that. I'm only saying it for you because you're veterans and you understand. I don't say this on the news. I don't care if anybody ever knows. I'm telling you that over that 4-year period of time, 4 years ago, I saw a president, the Congress. I saw 1 or 2 celebrities there on the hallways. Over my 12 trips, 13 trips that year feeding soldiers, I saw about 20 other celebrities. 3 years ago, about 3. Last year, This year,
It's because it's not trendy anymore. Hit pause.
Back then.
It's because it's not trendy anymore to thank a vet. It's not trendy like it was at the start of Iraq and Afghanistan, or even 4 years ago it was still trendy to go out there and support the troops. When Bush was in office, there was a saying, we don't support the war, but we support the troops. Now that Obama's there, you can't be against the war anymore. Well, Obama says it's good to keep troops on the ground there, and it's good to keep going after Al-Qaeda in Syria, even though we're supporting Al-Qaeda in Syria. I'm getting sick and tired of that, and that's what's really got me aggravated at the Republicans coming out over this, getting releasing the 5 Gitmo detainees to get a POW back. What's really got me aggravated by them is they're saying, well, we're strengthening Al-Qaeda by releasing these 5 terrorists back. We're strengthening Al-Qaeda. We're giving them their weapons back. I call BS. I call a steaming 5-field pile of Barry Soetoro on that one. You know how you're strengthening Al-Qaeda? You're strengthening them by killing Ambassador Stevens in Benghazi and giving them heat-seeking missiles. You're strengthening Al-Qaeda by John McCain going and having Memorial Day barbecue last year with them. That's how you're strengthening Al-Qaeda. Don't give me this Barry Soetoro that you're strengthening Al-Qaeda by releasing 5 terrorists. Doing Common Core math on it. And yeah, I'm fired up. It's going to be an angry morning. Don't give me this Barry Soetoro bullcrap, because that's exactly all it is, you Republican sellout traitors. Red is the new blue, and you're both scumbags. Be real Republicans. Be real liberty-loving Americans. There's some good ones out there. Ted Cruz. Not 100% sold on you. I'm keeping my eye on you. You got the Council of Foreign Relations, JP Morgan connections there. But so far, your fruit off your tree has been liberty, and I appreciate that. I stand by it. Rand Paul, you ain't your daddy, but you say some good things too, and you're liberty leaning. Justin Amash, I think you're about the best one out there, putting everything on Facebook, working for the people of Michigan. I would be proud to call you a representative, Justin Amash. I am proud to call Tim Scott a representative here in South Carolina. Same with Trey Gowdy. They're both patriots, liberty-minding patriots. Mike Lee. There's some good ones out there. We're not lambasting the whole system, but what we're going after are these scumbag, elitist, rhino Republicans like Lindsey Graham, like John McCain. You scumbags. Going and having barbecue with Al-Qaeda last year, having lamb burgers and things like that because they don't eat pork. You scumbags. You make me sick. And then you want to talk about, well, we're strengthening Al-Qaeda by releasing 5 terrorists. Wah, wah, wah. You run Al-Qaeda. It's on record. Our government runs Al-Qaeda. When are people going to get that through their head? Al-Qaeda is not the boogeyman because it's ran by our government. Just like the post office. You should be more scared of that than of Al-Qaeda. Sick and tired. Now we got Boko Haram to be afraid of. If it's not one Islamic threat, it's another.
Oh, USO every day. Take your money. Send guys there. Last 2 years, they're not going. Guys are still dying. We are at war.
Yes, we are.
How dare this nation treat us this way? How dare they?
Good balls. You know the answer to that, Montel. You know why they're treating you that way. They're treating you that way because you are an enemy of the state. I hate to say it that way, but that's the only way we can put it. What more do you want? They've declared war. The Southern Poverty Law Center and Homeland Security have declared war on veterans, Christians, conservatives, gun owners, libertarians. You know the list. We do it every show. We run down that list because we're on the list and they declared war on us. They've declared war on the veterans, and that's why you're seeing the Veterans Administration as incompetent and corrupt as it is. And I'm sick and tired of this hiding behind the incompetence. Well, we just have incompetent people running things. It's not really an evil system. No, it is a purely evil, satanic system. All of these elites, all of these top-end people, they do blood sex magics, follow Aleister Crowley's writings and teachings, and they invoke different demons and spirits, and it's sick, it's twisted, but it's exactly like we were told. It's exactly like the Bible says. You know, we fight not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities, and there is another realm that surrounds us that we can't see. We have no connections to, very minimal connections to, but it influences us on so many levels, and I really suggest delving into exactly the sick twistedness that these elites celebrate and worship and revere. You know, they're ancient. In a lot of cases, these are ancient Sumerian and Babylonian gods that they try to worship and pray to. Moloch, Shiva. Well, that's a Hindu, but they're all old ancient society gods that they're still trying to invoke. And a lot of these elites think that they're descended from Sumeria. Think that they're ancient royal bloodlines and that you can trace them back, and it's a sick, twisted world in which they live. I mean, with Skull and Bones, with all these other secret societies, secret fraternities, and we have to be opposed as a free society against secrets and secret societies, as Kennedy said. But we're up against the first break here. I'm going to come back. We'll play a little bit more of this Montel video. I want to wrap that up, and I truly do believe that the only reason that Obama, Freudian slip there. The only reason that Obama pushed for the release here of these 5 detainees to get U.S. Army Sergeant Bowie Bergdahl back from captivity is because he can now come out and say, well, I got a POW back. You know, I care about the veterans. So what if they're dying at the hospitals in rapid numbers and we're only giving them mass murder, suicide, SSRI pills we're shoving down their throats? So whatever that one. I'm literally bringing them back from the battlefields. We're going to get into that after the first break here. You're listening to The Drew Howard Show on the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin right here on KineticHiFi.com, Spreaker Web Radio. We're in the chat box at both places. I got Radio 2 in the chat box at Spreaker Web Radio. Glad to have you in there this morning, Radio 2. We want to hear your thoughts, your comments. You agree with me? You disagree with me? You don't like hearing a passionate real man screaming on the radio? You want to hear NPR? You want to hear me talk like this and play Norwegian woodwind music? Maybe talk about how frothy my Frappuccino is? Well, too bad. This is Set and Spin Radio. We're real men. We're passionate. It's going to be 2 hours of yelling. But do join me. Stick around for that. You don't want to miss it. Big show today. Let's go down the Seven Bridges Road and take us up the break.
There are stars in the southern sky, southward as you go. There is moonlight and moss in the trees down the same some lonesome child.
KineticHiFi.com, Charleston's local radio.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, hey.
Hey, why is the computer so slow?
Internet connection?
Can't be the internet connection. We pay like $300 a month for that.
Holy chestnut.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I know.
Yeah.
So it must be. Let's look around here for a second.
All right.
Yeah. You know what?
What?
Where's this wire go?
That wire?
That wire.
I don't know. It looks new.
It does kind of look new, but then there's like 18 wires down there. Let's try plugging it in over here. What do you say?
No, not there. No, right here.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Are you sure, Tom?
Positive. Plug it in.
All right, let's try that out.
Okay.
Don't be that guy. Instead, put your trust in ITSimplified.com. Cloud computing, data center servers, network management, Web 2.0, SQL, scalable architectures, programming, tech infrastructure, security, and anything else you shouldn't bother trying to figure out. Call 843-376-1991. That's 843-376-1991. ITSimplified.com. That's IT-simplified.com.
Riders.
Nationally. Do you want more of our current tax dollars to go into the classroom? Are you tired of paying for babysitting services for preschool and kindergarten children that do not have our children ready to read and write by the first grade? If your answer is yes to these questions, you must vote for Gary Burgess during the June 10th Republican primary. He is the only candidate who has worked in schools and has turned schools around. Gary Burgess has served as a teacher, a principal, and a superintendent, and now serves as an elected official on the Anderson County Board of Education. Enough is enough. Stop the madness and vote for Gary Burgess on June 10th. Visit Gary's website at www.burgess4sc.org. Paid for by Burgess for Superintendent Campaign.
You're listening to Kinetic Hi-Fi in Charleston, Samalama.
Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm. Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown.
There's the realm we live in and the realm we don't see. In between them, there's the doors. Riders on the storm this morning, mellowing me back out. Got to bring it back down a couple levels. I got fired up in that first segment there. Got CNN Politics reporting this morning. A new straw poll comes out with Ted Cruz winning the presidential straw poll at the Republican Leadership Conference. Not a big surprise there. I mean, the truth is Ted Cruz is a real person. He speaks his mind. And you know, I'm not 100% sold, as I've said time and time again. I'm keeping a close eye on Ted Cruz because at the moment he's saying the right things. You know, he has some questionable things in his past, some questionable connections through his wife. Those issues when we really delve into it. But at the time, he's saying the right things. And is this going to be a perpetrated event? Are we going to be hijacked here? You know, kind of like the fears that Dr. Steve Pachiznik's been selling for a year over the Edward Snowden revelation since that came out. That, hey, Edward Snowden's a red herring. Watch out for him. He's going to lead the anti-spying movement, and then he's going to flip on you. You know, it's going to be like a lot of this with the Patriot Act, how it was set up to be so great, and then it comes back to really take our rights, and that's the whole purpose of it. You see, the Department of Homeland Security set up to take Americans' right, not protect safety. And it's going to be another red herring, and there's definitely a apprehension, and I hate to think that we've gotten that cynical in our society. But I do want to touch on this real quick. The Ted Cruz has won another straw poll, boasting his national profile, and elevating his name among potential 2016 presidential contenders. The firebrand freshman senator and Tea Party favorite was among a handful of 2016 hopefuls speaking at the Republican Leadership Conference in New Orleans this week. We touched on it yesterday with Phil Robertson's comments, and he received 30.33%. And Dr. Ben Carson finished second, right behind him at 29%. Senator Rand Paul was third at 10.43%. And again, Rand Paul looked like he was going to be the leader. It looked like it was going to be a Paul Cruz ticket. But Rand Paul started making some statements that aren't jiving with the liberty-minded elements of the Republican Party. And we see that keep being pushed down our throats. I saw when I walked in here this morning, CNN on over in our green room, I saw up there that they were talking about the split in the Republican Party again between the big business, let's give all the tax breaks, and worship big business, trickle down Reagan-style GOP versus the libertarian component that's really taking over the grassroots. And if you want any hope at turning this GOP ship around from what we were talking about yesterday, where you're talking you win midterm elections, but you can't win presidential elections because you can't get the popular vote, you're going to have to do it by attacking issues that people care about. Not sitting here saying we got to give corporations big tax breaks and have Romney out there, well, corporations are people too, ha, ha, ha. They get the same rights as the Constitution, and the Constitution doesn't really mean rights for biological people, but rights for corporation people, manufactured people, things like that, and then switching our definitions. It's all this Orwellian doublespeak that they do to change definitions, to change standard terms, and to corrupt and bastardize our Constitution and our way of life. And if you're going to keep going down that road, Republicans, you're going to lose. Honesty, truth, justice, those are the things that all Americans, regardless of their race, religion, color, creed, or political orientation, they care about those things. Unless they're whiny scumbag little, I want to be a little Nelly. I can't get girls, so I'm going to go shoot people like Elliot Rodger. Or, I want to be a little fat, retarded douchebag like Michael Moore walking around with my 8-arm bodyguard saying you can't have guns. I'm sick and tired of these little, they're not even humans. They're soulless, vapid little gnats. That's what they are. They're the little gnats that bite you when you're sitting out at a River Dogs baseball game down there along the river. That's what these whiny leftist statists who are being elevated to be held up as true men in our society because they're so enlightened and they're so anti-misogynistic. They'd never tell a woman that dress makes her look good. No, they're sitting there asking, are you sure that dress doesn't make your butt look big? I'm so sensitive. I gained sympathy weight while you're pregnant. Aren't I such a great man? Yay. Instead of going out and building a crib for my baby with my bare hands, I eat a bucket of Haagen-Dazs ice cream with my wife. Yay. I'm sick and tired of the Nellies taking over our society. Be a man. And that's why we're going to get back to the Montel video here, because he's a real man. He's passionate. People are supposed to be fired up. I'm sick and tired of these Walking Dead, emotionless zombies that are jacked out of their mind on SSRI drugs. They can't have an original thought or an original emotion. I'm sick and tired of it.
You guys, and I am a Vietnam vet guy that came in. I get to wear the national vest for Vietnam. We have borne the brunt of some of the nastiest, because we're like the second class, even still today. The president said in his speech, we figured out how to help more sufferers of Agent Orange, and did not say we still deny 75,000 sailors who were blue water sailors who were parked pierside and won't give them treatment for Agent Orange.
Hit pause. Yeah, the Agent Orange ones we won't treat from Vietnam. They still can't get help. You know who else we're not treating? All the Navy sailors that responded to Fukushima, that was sucking up the irradiated water there into their filters, filtering that, and they were drinking and bathing in irradiated Fukushima isotope water, and now they're having cancers. They're having radiation sickness. Again, why are we making combat drones that run faster than cheetahs to hunt down and kill patriots instead of sending the drones in there to clean up Fukushima? Instead of sending drones in to fight forest fires in California, we're sending humans in to be burnt to a crisp. And we're making our drones be military applications that can kill us. That's going to go sentient, that's going to become self-aware like Skynet and order the obliteration of all humans. Let's get back to the video.
Now, right now is a critical time for all veterans. All of us who enjoy facilities like this, all of us who enjoy camaraderie. We have to take us back. We have to take the patient and the veteran off the battlefield. We have to demand of our elected officials, listen to me, if 5 years ago, in a 1 month period of time, the president could determine that we needed to have a surge in Afghanistan, and we were able to deliver 100,000 troops within 60 days of Afghanistan to try to turn the war around, and that probably cost us $20 billion. We right now have a budget that's going through Congress right this minute that has things in it that nobody wants. If the president demanded a surge against the backlog of patients the VA needs to treat.
Well, yeah, it would be great if the president ordered a surge against the backlog of VA patients that they need to treat. However, he's just committed $50 billion a year to fighting climate change, another $50 billion, shutting down coal power plants all across the country, doubling, tripling, in some places quadrupling the price of power over the last 2 years. I know here in the Charleston area, the price of power keeps steadily going up. Basically every month it keeps raising the price of power. So it'd be great if he ordered a surge, but, well, climate change is a little more important than taking care of the men and women who fought for us. And vets, I'm begging you to please wake up. Most of the veterans out there, most of the military service is awake because they've seen it. They've been loading the drugs on the plane in Afghanistan. They've been loading the kids on the planes all around the world, Middle East, Africa, Southeast Asia. They've been running these sick, satanic black ops. They're the boots on the ground that are doing it, following their orders, and they're awake. They see what's going on. They're compartmentalized, but they're able to put the pieces together and see through the compartmentalization. And again, that's the thing I think I love the most about Captain America 2 is just the fact that Nick Fury was able to break down compartmentalization in one line, show people exactly how, because that's the biggest argument you get whenever you talk to somebody about 9/11 or about Sandy Hoax or about the Chris Dorner situation or Waco or JFK even. You always get well, there's no way that they could get that many people involved and keep it a secret. They do when the people don't know what they're doing, when it's compartmentalized, when you can't see the entire, when you can't see the forest because of the trees, and that's what compartmentalization does. It gets you chopping down an individual tree to level the forest. You think, let's take this one tree out of here. Then you've got another group taking a tree out over here, another group taking a tree out over here that you can't see. Then all of a sudden, you look back, the work's done, and the forest is leveled. That's compartmentalization, and that's why I love that Captain America 2 was able to break that down. But they don't want you around anymore, military. They want to slow kill you. They want to execute you. That's why you're going to go to the FEMA camps. That's why, same with conservatives, Christians, libertarians, gun owners, free thinkers. If you have an original thought, if you don't go along with the hive speak mentality of this new anti-utopian America, it's their utopian dream. It's a socialist utopia, but I don't consider it a utopia. I consider it a hell on earth. But if you don't go along with that, if you question that system, you are a dissident. You are an enemy of the state. It's George W. Bush saying you're either with you're either with us or against us.
We could take that money right out of the budget and do that within the next 90 days and then understand how much we're going to owe for the next 50 years. Because we don't even have a baseline. We don't know who's sick and what multiple illnesses they've gotten since the last time they were seeing me. Whether you agree with me politically or not, I know you agree with me on this. We can argue about whether we like football, basketball, as soldiers and sailors, airmen, marine, and coast guardsmen, but when it comes time, we never leave a soldier on the battlefield. Yeah. It is time for us to come together.
Well, when you get a commander-in-chief that's never served, that's never had to pull a soldier off the battlefield, that has no sympathy, that looks at you as nothing more than the pawn on his global chess game that he's playing with Putin. Well, he's not even playing chess. Putin's playing chess. He's playing Chinese checkers over here. Obama showed up with a bag of marbles. You know, Putin brought out a nice ivory chess set, ebony and ivory chess set. Here's what's going on, though, with the Army Sergeant Bowie Burngale, released from captivity by the Taliban. Senior Republicans on Capitol Hill said they were troubled by the means which it was accomplished, which a deal with 5 Afghan detainees from Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, were released. Top Republicans on the Senate and House Armed Services Committee went so far as to accuse President Obama of having broken the law, which requires the administration to notify Congress before he transfers any Guantanamo Bay detainees. We've got trading 5 senior Taliban leaders for detention in Guantanamo Bay for Burgos' release may have consequences for the rest of our forces and all Americans. Our terrorist adversaries now have a strong incentive to capture Americans. That incentive will put off our forces in Afghanistan and around the world at even greater risk. House Armed Services Committee Chairman Howard P. McKinnon of California and ranking Republican on the Senate Arms Services Committee James Ivanhoe of Oklahoma said in a joint statement. Lawmakers were not notified of the transfer until after it occurred. The law requires Defense Secretary to notify relevant congressional committees at least 30 days before making any transfers of prisoners. Again, Obama thinks he's a dictator. He's going to act like a dictator. He's said it time and time again. He's got a pen. He's got a phone. He's going to do his will. I mean, the only difference is he's not actually actively out there quoting it like his best buddy Jay-Z sitting there quoting Aleister Crowley, do what thou wilt. But Obama's saying basically the same thing. Look, I got a phone. I got a pen. I'm going to do what I want to do. Back off. I'll call Putin while I'm wearing all denim. Look like I'm in a Canadian tuxedo. That's fine. Because I got a pen. I got a phone. These are sick, twisted Satanists, folks. That's all it is. And when you get into everything that with Aleister Crowley, the connections, not even the whole Bush dynasty coming from Crowley, but with Barbara Bush. But it's sick, twisted Satanism. Senator John McCain, of course he's got to weigh in on this, said the detainees transferred Guantanamo Bay to Qatar, where they will stay for at least a year, are hardened terrorists who have the blood of Americans and countless Afghans on their hands, and I'm eager to learn what precise steps are being taken to ensure that these vicious and violent Taliban extremists never return to the fight against the United States and our partners or engage in the activities that threaten the prospects for peace and security in Afghanistan. Well, I mean, why would they keep attacking us? We gave them food, water, prayer mats, medical treatment, better medical treatment than the vets got in Guantanamo. Are we even sure that waterboarding took place there? We all hear about the great horrors of Guantanamo Bay and the waterboarding, and they're playing loud music. That's how Nelly we've gotten our society, to a point where loud music offends people. And again, I give Obama credit for getting Army Sergeant Bowie Burngale released. It's good that he got him back. We do need to get all of our POWs back. We never leave a person behind, as Obama said, or excuse me, Freudian slip there, as Montel Williams said again. But Obama doesn't know not to leave people behind. He's never been in that situation. To him, it's no more than throwing a polystyrene cup out the window. Actually, he probably would be more opposed to that because of global warming. But it's the same concept of leaving trash behind. He views these soldiers as trash. I'm glad to see he got a POW back. We should always be getting them back. We should be sending in our special forces missions to recover POWs. We should do that. That's what special forces is for. We should be sending them in to recover these girls from Boko Haram, not sitting back saying it's too risky, it's too dangerous, blah blah blah. We send them in. That's what they sign up for. They know that they are going into death-filled situations to rescue people that can't rescue themselves. Due to a near-term opportunity to save Sergeant Burgle's life, we moved as quickly as possible, the Obama administration official said. It doesn't look like they spoke on the condition of anonymity. The administration determined that given these unique and exigent circumstances, such a transfer should go forward, notwithstanding the notice requirement. And again, it's Republicans grasping at straws to say everything Obama does is wrong. Everything he does is wrong. No, this is a situation where I think he made the right call, and I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I'm glad he got our POW back. I don't think that these 5 terrorists that were released are going to be that big of a threat. If anything, they're going to be used as patsies again, like the 19 terrorists from Saudi Arabia who supposedly pulled off 9/11 to begin with. Again, ask the question, why do we go after Iraq and Afghanistan when all the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia? Why? Because Bush is considered a family member of the Saudi Arabia Sultans. Called Prince Bandar of Saudi Arabia, Bandar Bush. Look it up. It's on record. Quick Google search will show you that. This is a story I saw yesterday. I want to move on real quick before we get to the second break here of the first hour. This is a story that I saw yesterday that really just backs up something I've been saying for years. It's a neurosurgeon, brain surgeon, says bicycle helmets are useless. They're too flimsy to be beneficial. Leading neurosurgeons controversially claim that cyclists who wear helmets are wasting their time. Henry Marsh, who works at St. George's Hospital in Tooting, London. Like that. That's a good name for a place. Tooting, London. Wonder if it's a really flatulent filled part of London. I digress there. It's a family show. Gotta get back to getting away from that. But, you call... I'm just saying, you call part of the city Tooting, there better be a lot of flatulence going on. Said that many of his patients who have been involved in bike accidents have been wearing helmets that were too flimsy to be beneficial. He made the comments while speaking at the Hay Festival during a discussion with Ian McQuan, whose 2005 novel Saturday featured a neurosurgeon. He cited evidence from the University of Bath that suggests wearing a helmet may even put cyclists at greater risk. The research showed that drivers get around 3 inches closer to cyclists who wear helmets because they perceive them as safer. So you're more likely to be hit by a car if you're wearing a bike helmet because people are going to think you're safer because you're wearing a helmet. It's one of the beauties of living here in South Carolina, folks. You don't have to wear a helmet. You don't have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle. That one I think is a little stupid, but I would suggest wearing a helmet, particularly if you're going down a major thoroughfare. If you're just running around the blocks of the store, not going to get above 35 miles an hour, maybe it's not such a big deal. But, if you're getting on the highway or something, I'd suggest wearing a helmet. But with bicycles, how often do people hit their head when they're riding a bicycle to begin with? If you're going to fall, you got your arms there to break your fall. You can throw your body into it. I just think I just think bicycle helmets are overrated. There's always been that big push to make kids wear them, and I've never been down with that, as they say. Not really down with that one. And again, we talked about this. I want to get into Dinesh D'Souza, saying that Hillary's going to finish off America. She's not going to be moderate like Bill Clinton was. Well, of course not. They've moved in the agenda from there. Bill Clinton, when he was there, people were still awake in the mid-'90s. We still had this whole... We had Bush come out September 11th, 1991. September 11th, 1991. 10 years before 9/11 to the date. We had George H.W. Bush come out and call for the New World Order publicly, first time announced it. 10 years later, we had the attack on September 11th. But in between that time, we still had people that were woken up. Think about the outrage over Ruby Ridge during that time. Think about the outrage over Waco. And I was young at the time. I was in middle school. I just went into middle school when Waco happened. Wasn't really paying much attention. At that time, all I really cared about was Red Wings hockey, Star Wars. I was young. Wanted to watch TV, that kind of stuff. I didn't think about the world at large. I was too worried about what I was doing in my life or where my life could go. So I didn't pay much attention to Waco. I took kind of the lamestream media's view on it. But, people around me were outraged. I remember that. How could the government go in and burn down buildings? And what about their constitutional rights? But it was all for the kids, right? It was all to protect these children that were supposedly being abused at the hands of cultists. And then that was the other things you heard. Well, they're cultists. They're like the Hellbop cultists, mutilating their genitals and drinking Kool-Aid like Jonestown. It's crazy cultists. We got to kill them. They're cultists. But there was still, I remember that really big push against Waco being a inside job. And they needed Clinton to not go extreme at the time. He had to be pulled back. Then after Bush, the stuff hits the fan, as the old saying goes, with 9/11, and then fear trumped liberty. And you really see that change, that flip overnight of fear changing liberty. But of course, where I was getting with that is, of course, Hillary's going to be more assertive, more aggressive than Bill was if she gets into office. That's why you're seeing the setup now with everything is sexist, and why we're emasculating the men, and why we're neutering the men and turning them into little whiny Nellies that want to sit there and gain sympathy weight when their wife's pregnant. No matter what you believe as far as science, religion, personally, I see too much of a creator's hand in every system around us on the earth: geological, meteorological, our growth, our adaptations, the way humans work with each other. I see a divine presence, a hand of creation in that. I don't believe that this could just randomly happen as perfectly as it does. I don't believe that it could just randomly happen where trees take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygens, and animals take in oxygen and give off carbon dioxide. It's symbiotic. It works together, and I don't believe in coincidence. That's why I'm a conspiracy theorist, conspiracy realist, whatever you want to call it. We've got it documented on facts. It's not bunk. It's all documented facts that you can back up. If you do the research, you'll find it. But at the same time, I don't believe in coincidences. That's why I see through conspiracies, and that's why I don't believe in the whole we crawled out of the slime evolution from nothing. I believe microevolution adaptations. We see that. You can do genetic breeding to cause better traits to come out. But we evolved as a society, not monkey to human evolution, but just as human society from generation to generation, the natural things you learn that are passed down. Our sociological evolution led us to when women are pregnant, men are supposed to be doing more work, not gaining sympathy weight, sitting around, getting their ankles swollen as well. They're supposed to be out there building because they got that life to take care of. They need to build a future, grow more crops, get through the winter. Be prepared. In this society today, it's stack up on diapers, stack up on toys, on clothes. Be ready for it. Don't just sit around passing the ice cream bucket and pickles between each other, which is what we see happening with people that do get pregnant in this society. And it's sickening to me. Nobody wants to step up and prepare. Nobody wants to be out there gathering their acorns for the winter. Everybody wants to sit there and run back to the store and buy it off the shelf. They don't want any preparation. And that's part of the system beating it out of us, is to not prepare. If you're a prepper, then you're a terrorist. If you prepare for things, then you're definitely Al-Qaeda. You're evil. You're on the Southern Poverty Law Center's hit list, and you're somebody we have to watch out for. And that's the point that they keep getting over and over and over again. They've really beaten that down through the lamestream media, through Hollywood. That's why you see now the villains in the stories are patriots. They like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. They wear tri-corner hats. They're the villains on Green Lantern. They're the villains on X-Men shows. Yep. The child molester is always a patriot. He always has a Gadsden flag now. It's no longer a Catholic priest. It's always a person flying a Gadsden flag, or the drug dealer, arms runner. Have you noticed, folks? They're always patriots now, or terrorists, because that's the mindset they want to get across to you. And I'll say it again. He's absolutely right in this. Patriots were terrorists to King George, and we're terrorists to the New World Order. We're not giving up to your system of global governance. We believe sovereignty is a good thing, and we believe America is a good thing. We're going to stand up for it. We're breaking the spell back. Well, I like the song. It took the spell that Jay-Z and Kanye put into that song to invoke those evil powers, and flipped it on.
Down to Bilderberg, I'll get more in depth, cause your boys really need a word. Growing up a pyramid, it's all Illuminati. Now I'm jamming pocket, trying to find my shotty, cause I hear the prophets calling, trying to calm me down. I'm trying to spit the facts. It's this 666 when you play it from the back. Yeah, I'm talking more drama, Rockefeller 80% dead threat. Don't forget, when they come for the neck.
Does there even? It's not fair. You make the rules and you don't care. You just blindly sell your soul. Hypnotize, they're in control. In a trance you go along, indoctrinated by their song. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna free this town tonight.
We got talk shows, we got sunglasses, we got music, we got fake Rolexes. KineticHiFi.com. Keep it locked in, honey butter. It's a fact. Nearly 80% of us will have back pain at some point in our lives. and for some of us, it can be debilitating. If you live in the Charleston, South Carolina area and have any kind of back issue, Peninsula Chiropractic is your answer. Peninsula Chiropractic has a reputation built on great customer service and the results most chiropractors can't deliver. One patient and local firefighter says, "I have been a patient with Peninsula Chiropractic for nearly 10 years. Dr. Ty and Dr. Rob have treated me with the utmost skill, respect, and kindness as a person and a patient. I feel extremely confident with their skills and have recommended Peninsula Chiropractic to numerous people, not to mention the relaxed atmosphere and genuine caring staff that is Peninsula Chiropractic. Don't spend another day in pain. Call Peninsula Chiropractic today at 843-723-6475. That's 723-6475. Or visit the office, conveniently located within the Sergeant Jasper Building downtown at 310 Broad Street, number 2, Charleston, South Carolina. Do you want to take our schools back? Are you tired of political correctness? Do you want Common Core stopped? Are you ready for teachers to be allowed to teach and discipline again? Are you sick of more and more tax dollars going into a public education system that continues to be at the bottom of the barrel nationally? Do you want more of our current tax dollars to go into the classroom? Are you tired of paying for babysitting services for preschool and kindergarten children that do not have our children ready to read and write by the first grade? If your answer is yes to these questions, you must vote for Gary Burgess during the June 10th Republican primary. He is the only candidate who has worked in schools and has turned schools around. Gary Burgess has served as a teacher, a principal, and a superintendent, and now serves as an elected official on the Anderson County Board of Education. Enough is enough. Stop the madness and vote for Gary Burgess on June 10th. Visit Gary's website at www.burgess4sc.org. Paid for by Burgess for Superintendent Campaign.
For the third year in a row, Condé Nast Traveler has named Charleston, South Carolina, the world's best city. Now, a radio station that brings Charleston to the rest of the world. You're listening to KineticHiFi.com.
In the name of Jesus. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And every tongue that rises against me in judgment thou shalt condemn. Lord, give me a sign. For this is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. And their righteousness is of me, said the Lord. Amen. Lord, give me a sign. I really need to talk to you, Lord. Since the last time we talked.
And welcome back in. Good Sunday morning. Thanks for joining us here. It is June the 1st, 2014. Moving through. Summer's here around the corner. Only got a couple more weeks till the solstice. Then the days will start getting shorter. Fall will be here before you know it. Football season to keep the mainstream masses distracted. The season of tyranny is upon us. It's coming fast. A little DMX to bring us back. Getting pumped up this morning. Almost halfway through the show here today. Can't believe it's going by so fast. But hey, you've got Sit and Spin Radio for the next 3 hours here on Kinetic Hi-Fi. Well, 3 hours now. It's 4 hours total. Got me for another hour here with the Drew Howard Show. Then after that, stick around for Nick O'Kelly. He's got you from 11 to 1. You know he's going to be talking about the prisoner release, talk about shutting down coal power plants. A lot of interesting stuff, giving you his spin on it. Again, like we said yesterday, folks, if you were listening to the show yesterday with Nick O'Kelly and myself, Joe Biden came out again this week calling for a new world order. In fact, let's go ahead and we'll play the clip of that. This was at the Air Force graduation, telling cadets their number one pejorative should be to start a new world order.
I believe we, and particularly you, your class, has an incredible window of opportunity to lead in shaping a new world order for the 21st century.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
That's creepy. That was of George H.W. Bush back September 11th, 1991. Yeah, September 11th, 1991, date of that speech. 10 years before the terrorist attack, which really ushered in the expansion of the New World Order. And you know how they did this? You see how they did this? In the time between 1991, when George H.W. Bush comes out and says, we got the New World Order, we're going to build it, and we're going to be successful. You're not going to stop us. Nothing you can do. We will be successful. That's the part I hate in there where he's like, when we're successful, and we will be. Yeah, that's right. I'm licking the blood of the innocent off my lips right now because I just did a skull and bones ceremony where I laid in a coffin and masturbated and told all my brothers my sexual fantasies because that's what we do. We get off on it. That's the problem with these Satanists, man. They're just weird. They're weird. Like, they do these rituals, skull and bones. You can look it up. John Kerry, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush. Most of our presidents, we got 14 presidents who were members of Skull and Bones. We've got countless CIA directors, FBI directors, congressmen, senators, heads of business. They're all part of this secret fraternity at Yale, where their ritual to get inducted is they lay in a coffin and masturbate and tell each other their sexual fantasies. That's just weird. It's weird. It's like Bilderberg with these old men in bathrobes, playing on a balcony. It's weird stuff. It's weird, like Bohemian Grove. It's just getting gay porn stars to come in and service them. It's weird, demonic sex magic. It's the kind of stuff Aleister Crowley was into, and now he's got these weird Satanists on his side, and he's infiltrated and corrupted them, and they like to do all this weird sex magic. Just it's weird. That's all I can say is it's weird. There's really no other way to say it other than it's just weird. And, having sex on demonic altars to conceive demon babies and moon children. And that's why they push so much in the lamestream media for atheism. It's so you won't believe it. That way when these things do get out about the rituals and what the elitists believe, they want the mass media being like, there's no God. There's no Satan. There's only the now. There's only the way I feel. And that's what they want you thinking. No, God and Satan are very real. And I'm not trying to preach to you here on a Sunday morning. I believe everybody's relationship with God is their own business. It's personal. That's why it's your personal relationship with God. If you're in friends, family, people have questions, people want answers, then share with them. Then they come to you and ask. But I don't believe in cramming it down people's throats. And I don't believe in beating it over the head with people, standing on street corners and screaming at them. You're passionate to do that. You'll stand on a street corner and you'll scream at people about being sinners, but you won't go tell them that their liberties are being taken, that they're being enslaved. The point I was getting to with this is the lamestream media and the way that they control it. For 10 years there, between 1991 and 2001, look at what we had happen. You had the New World Order, George W. Bush, H.W. Bush coming out, announcing it, saying, we will be successful. Ha, ha, ha. You can't stop us. Ha, ha, ha. Doing his evil demonic laughs. And then you had Ted Turner, Turnaround 96, under WCW with Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. And what did they form? The New World Order. You had people running around everywhere you looked. You saw shirts with NWO. New World Order was a wrestling thing. It discredited it. And, I look back at my history, and I was a big fan of wrestling during the Attitude Era. And I wore NWO shirts not knowing what it was. And, thinking that, they just took that out of Revelation where they talked about it. And it's a joke. Ha, ha, ha. What it did is it programmed us. It got us accepted to this culture. It subliminally controlled us and prepared us for the eventual takeover of the UN, for them moving forward with this New World Order agenda that they talk about constantly 24/7. Now it is, we're building a new world. We've got Obama talking about it, Biden talking about it, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, Clinton, you name it. Everybody's on record. McCain, Lindsey Graham, they're all on record talking about the New World Order because that's their end game. That's where they're going. It's all conditioning. It's all controlled mind operative conditioning and preparing us for what's coming. And you see that now. I watched a great video last night. Actually, a lot of them, but great videos by Freeman out of Austin, Texas. Does great work. He actually predicted 9/11 before it happened. It's on record. You can look it up. He's got videos out there predicting it years before, during the Clinton. He literally pointed to the date, said September 11th will be a major terrorist attack to usher in Homeland Security. Didn't have it being at the World Trade Center, didn't know that, but he predicted a massive terrorist attack on September 11th to take our rights under Homeland Security, which is exactly what's happened. This just broke on Drudge out of the New York Times. National Security Agency is harvesting huge numbers of images from people's communications that intercepts their global surveillance operations for sophisticated facial recognition programs, according to top-secret documents. Well, yeah, it's on record that for 10 years now, they've been able to go in and remotely activate your webcams on your computers. That's why people put black tape over their webcams, so they can remotely activate it. They can do it on your tablets, on your phone, you name it, anything with a camera. You've got cameras all over the streets. And they're using this as saying that Umar Farouk Abdullah Matab, the underwear bomber from Christmas a couple years ago, well, 5-6 years ago now, but the underwear bomber that tried to blow up a plane in Detroit, put on the plane by government officials, on record, you got eyewitnesses there that saw him being forced on the plane without a passport, looked very out of place because he was wearing sweatpants and a T-shirt while everybody else in first class looked, respectable. Seemed very out of place, and they were talking about, well, we send kids here all the time through this. It was child running. That's the scariest part, is it basically admitted to the child running. So, yeah, it's no big news here, but maybe Washington or with New York Times reporting that millions of images per day, up to 55,000 facial recognition quality images, are taken, are kept by the NSA on a daily basis. Yeah, and why not? Why shouldn't the NSA be spying on you at all times? They love you. Your government loves you. Obama loves you. Obama cares about you. Obama wants you to be happy. We'll play that after the break. I'm not going to pull that up because we're getting ready in the first hour here. You're listening to KineticHiFi.com, Spreaker Web Radio. We'll be back for the second hour coming up right after this. I'm Drew Howard. We'll be right back.
I can plow a field all day long. I can catch catfish from dusk till dawn. Make our own whiskey and our own smoke too. Ain't too many things these old boys can't do. Grow good old tomatoes and homemade wine, and country boy can survive. Country folks can survive. Because you can't starve us out and you can't make us run. Cause when them old boys raised on shotgun, we say grace and we say ma'am. If you ain't into that, we don't give a damn. Came from the West Virginia coal mines and the Rocky Mountains and the West.
Yeah, this is what happens when you cross fun with classic. You're listening to KineticHiFi.com, baby. It's classic.
Surprise the love of your life with the meal of their dreams. Why fight traffic, weather, wait lists, annoying waiters, when the best of Charleston can come to you? Chef Michael Fanal has over 20 years of culinary expertise to please your palate. Enjoy a romantic getaway in the privacy of your own home. Pricing is much more affordable than many downtown locations, and gift certificates are available. Simply visit cookingforcouples.co, cookingforcouples.co, or call Chef Michael 843-714-8693. 843-714-8693.
Let's be honest, realtors are a dime a dozen. However, true real estate professionals are a rare find. You want somebody who's not only knowledgeable about the industry, but who understands on a personal level the home buying and selling process. You want somebody who knows what you want. Put down those yellow pages and throw away the refrigerator magnets. Your search for the perfect professionals is over. Personal experience is what really sets Mark and Patricia Fuchs apart. Respected and revered agents with Keller Williams Realty, Mark and Patricia Fuchs provide their clients with a courteous, professional, and personalized experience. Whether you're buying, selling, or just browsing, go ahead and call Mark and Patricia Fuchs at 843-425-0953. 843-425-0953. Or visit their website at markandpatriciafuchs.com. That's markandpatriciafuchs, Fuchs.com.
Yo, this is Junior Reed, and when I'm in South Carolina, I stay tuned to Kinetic Hi-Fi for the best in music scene. So hear this. Gunshot of fire, bodies on the floor, cops on the block, kicking down the door, it's crazy. Whoa, it's crazy. Hey, standing on, being in the streets, it's all without a job. That's why no youths are out there on a rob, it's crazy. Whoa, it's crazy. And don't forget, it's Kinetic Hi-Fi, man, see?
Pretty good fiddle, boy, but give the devil his due. I bet a fiddle of gold against your soul, cause I think I'm better than you. The boy said, my name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet you're gonna regret, cause I'm the best as ever been. Johnny, rosin up your bow and play your fiddle hard, cause hell's broke loose in Georgia and the devil deals the cards. And if you win, you get this shiny fiddle made of gold, but if you lose, the devil gets your soul.
And that's really what we're up against here. Not the devil getting your soul. That's your personal relationship with God. You work that one out. But the devil's getting everything else. He's getting this world's soul. He's getting Bilderberg's soul. What's going on this weekend? We'll get into a little bit of that this hour. In fact, we got the official policy came out. Daniel Estalon got a bit of that. We talked yesterday about what they said was on the agenda. But now the insider leaked a list of actual talking points for Bilderberg. This list has 9 items, 7 of which he shared. Number 1 item on the list is nuclear diplomacy and the deal with Iran currently in the making. The club has been long cautious of a possible alliance between Russia, China, and Iran, the deal that would lift Western pressure from the Islamic Republic over its nuclear program would affect this possibility. And all this is being reported to us out of Infowars.com from Daniel Estalon, longtime watcher of Bilderberg. Probably after the death of Jim Tucker last year, which was sad. I hate to see Jim Tucker pass away. He was a great voice for 40 years against Bilderberg. But now, in the void that's been left, Daniel Estalon's probably, I would say, conservatively, the top of the anti-Bilderberg, exposing Bilderberg pyramid. I think Daniel Estalon's at the peak. He's Bilderberg 24/7. Alex Jones is right behind him. He gets into other things. That's the difference is Daniel Estalon lives, eats, breathes, sleeps Bilderberg, like Jim Tucker did. Gas deal between Russia and China came amid serious political crisis in the Ukraine, which threatens Russia's supply of natural gas to European nations. Moscow has diversified its gas trade by selling long-term contract with Beijing. Potentially, China may replace the EU as prime energy trade partner for Russia, a situation which strengthens Moscow's position in Ukraine and undermining Washington's effort to isolate Russia and Kyiv's leverage through control of its transit gas pipeline. Again, this is why we see Russia dropping the dollar as its reserve petrocurrency. That's why we see China dropping the dollar. The globalists are setting up China to be the manufacturing center of their new world order. However, China's playing a long con game where they're working with whoever. They've been screwed over by the globalists. A lot of these Chinese people that are in power now don't sign off to Mao. They lost family members to Mao's genocide in there, to his political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. And they're cautious of the globalists, I guess would be the best way to say it. And again, why do I not trust globalist treaties? Why do I not trust treaties with our government? I don't know. Let's look at how great our government treaties, even before our government was hijacked in 1913 by the Federal Reserve and the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and Illuminati. Even before that, let's look at what our government treaties with the Native Americans did. Name one treaty that we actually stuck to. Hey, let's give the Black Hills to the Lakota. Let's give them to the Sioux. It's their land. Wait, there's gold in them their hills? Nope, let's go in there. Let's murder them all. Let's massacre them. Let's send the men out to fight, and let's massacre the women and children in the village. I don't trust our government treaties because we haven't kept a single treaty with the Native Americans. What makes you think that they're going to keep any treaties they sign with us? They're not. The only treaty they'll keep is the Treaty of Death. And China, Russia, all of them have been bitten by the New World Order's hand. Or they've had their hand bitten by the New World Order, excuse me. And they're cautious, they're optimistic, and they're keeping their options open. Rise of nationalist moods in Europe. We see that with Nigel Farage's election. And not only him, but around the EU. People are getting sick and tired of the EU, particularly in the smaller countries, Spain, Greece, Italy. They're tired of being slaves to France, Great Britain, and Germany. They're tired of being the slaves for them, tired of being the economic slaves, and having all of their resources taken to give to Great Britain, France, and Germany. EU internet privacy regulations. Again, this is coming out in the wake of the Edward Snowden release and the NSA's release. Germany in particular was very aggravated. Probably because Germany realizes it's most of their systems that they lost about 70 years ago that are implementing all this stuff. Again, folks, and you know why? You know why I think our Department of Education is evil now? You know why I think all of this eugenics-based Planned Parenthood is evil? Why I think a lot of this medical industry experimenting we're doing, particularly on CPS kids with psychotropic drugs, psychology experimenting, all that, why I think it's purely evil? Because it all came directly from the concentration camps. Literally, America, Russia, Great Britain, all of the major superpowers in the world after World War II went out and recruited like it was free agency for the NBA, and these Nazi scientists were LeBron James. Werner von Braun was the LeBron James of his day. He just chose to take his rocketry talents to South Beach. And I don't say that as a metaphor for America, but he took his rocket talents to America. And they hide behind his quote of when the V5 rockets fell into London. And he said that they performed admirably. They just landed on the wrong planet. And that was his quote. And, well, Werner von Braun wasn't really bad. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal looked up to him in October Sky. He was his hero. He can't be that bad. No, he was a Nazi. Same with kindergarten. It's a Nazi term. They didn't even change it. It's a direct Nazi term. You send your kids to indoctrination for their first year of school. It's nothing but pure indoctrination. And they softened it because, when I was in kindergarten, it wasn't indoctrination. It was blocks and crayons and nap time. It was snacks and playgrounds. It wasn't pure indoctrination off the bat where they're making videos asking 5-year-olds what they think of gay marriage. It wasn't teaching your 5-year-old how to masturbate and have anal sex like it is now. Now it's pure gay indoctrination. Let's show cartoons of transgendered 5-year-olds as superheroes. That way every little boy will want to grow up to be a girl, and every little girl will try to be a boy, and we can get major gender confusion at an early age, which comes directly from the teachings of Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley said to expose children to every sex act as soon as possible. Get them indoctrinated to it. Get them accustomed to it. Aleister Crowley is the same basis, along with the Germans, that we see for MK Ultra mind control. It's all connected. They're satanic. Margaret Sanger, writing about we need abortion to kill the little black babies in the womb, she was getting awards from Hitler. She was personal friends with Hitler, sending him correspondence. It's time to step up and be a man. That's what I'm saying, is it's man up, America. Man up. And that's a sexist, racist, homophobic term to say. You can't say man up at Duke. You can't say, don't be a wussy. All we've got is a nation of feminized men. This nation, they should all be boys named Sue in this nation, only they're not going to stand up, they're not going to fight. If they are a boy named Sue, they're just going to take it. Be a little Nelly, man. think about Johnny Cash here. Let's take us out to break with a little Johnny Cash, a boy named Sue. We got a nation of boys named Sue. Only they're not being men. They're not fighting out. They're putting on their little lace frilly panties and living up their little metrosexual, effeminate lives.
Some guy'd laughed and I'd bust his head. I'll tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue. Well, I grew up quick and I grew up mean. My fists got hard and my wits got keen. Roamed from town to town to hide my shame. But I made me a vow to the moon and stars. I'd search the honky-tonks and bars and kill that man that gave me that awful name. Well, it was Gatlinburg in mid-July and I'd just hit town and my throat was dry. I thought I'd stop and have myself a brew. At an old saloon on a street of mud, there at a table, dealing stud, sat a dirty mangy dog that named me Sue. Well, I knew that...
Do you remember eating spaghetti while watching Murder, She Wrote with your mom? It's like that. KineticHiFi.com Community Radio, bringing back that warm, fuzzy feeling. Do you want to take our schools back? Are you tired of political correctness? Do you want Common Core stopped? Are you ready for teachers to be allowed to teach and discipline again? Are you sick of more and more tax dollars going into a public education system that continues to be at the bottom of the barrel nationally? Do you want more of our current tax dollars to go into the classroom? Are you tired of paying for babysitting services for preschool and kindergarten children that do not have our children ready to read and write by the first grade? If your answer is yes to these questions, you must vote for Gary Burgess during the June 10th Republican primary. He is the only candidate who has worked in schools and has turned schools around. Gary Burgess has served as a teacher, a principal, and a superintendent, and now serves as an elected official on the Anderson County Board of Education. Enough is enough. Stop the madness and vote for Gary Burgess on June 10th. Visit Gary's website at www.burgess4sc.org. Paid for by Burgess for Superintendent Campaign.
That roof in need of repair. That leaky ceiling driving you insane. The bathroom commode constantly running. The entire house from inside out is gasping for help. For over 35 years, when your home, office, or place of worship needs repair, yes, you need the specialists of Capers & Capers Carpentry. They're a family-owned business that's been around for nearly 40 years. Whenever your home, office, or place of worship is in need of repair, call the specialist at area code 843-642-0697. Capers & Capers can help repair your roof, hang sheetrock, hardwood floors, minor electrical work, replace trim, paint the inside as well as the outside, replace wood side. Capers & Capers Carpenters can revive your ailing landscape. Install ceiling fans too. Call the carpentry specialist and get a free estimate at 843-642-0697 or contact them by email arnoldcapers@yahoo.com. Ask and ye shall receive.
You're listening to Kinetic Hi-Fi in Charleston, Samalama.
I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive.
I was a sailor.
Now this is a super group if there ever was a super group. Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, little Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, the Highwaymen. Tell you what, if there was ever a bunch of non-Nellies out there, that's the biggest group of non-Nellies I think I ever saw. Throw John Wayne into that. We need to return to that. That's what men in this country need to be. We need to return to men being like Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Waylon Jennings.
I was a damn builder.
Here it is. Little Waylon Jennings right here.
River deep and wide.
Where steel and water did collide. It's a great song, The Highwaymen. That's really been the theme of this morning is, man up America. Man up America. That's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to Americans being real men. We've been neutered by this metrosexual society that's pushing estrogen mimickers and the BPA plastics. It's pushing hydrofluorosilicic acid. It's pushing GMO crap foods that are neutering us. It's making us domesticated farm pigs eating off the government slop trays instead of being real wild boars going out there digging and getting truffles. You know the difference? You know why farm pigs don't eat truffles? Because they don't go out there and they don't work for it. If a wild boar is eating a truffle, it's because he built that truffle, Obama. He built it. And it's time we get back, and it's time real men of action stand up in this country and say, I'm building it. Continue on with the Bilderberg listing of what they're talking about. Continuing with the EU internet privacy restrictions, it's cyber warfare and its potential effect on internet freedoms. The destructive potential of cyber attacks is growing rapidly, and as reliance on the internet in all aspects of life rises. But the threat of state-sponsored hacker attacks is what some governments may use as pretext for clamping down on the internet. From Ukraine to Syria, Barack Obama's foreign policy is being debated. Critics of the U.S. president blame him for betraying America's leadership overseas, citing failures to defend American interests in Syria and lately in the Ukraine. Obama's newly announced doctrine calls for scaling down reliance on military forces and using diplomacy and collective action instead. Bilderberg members will discuss whether this policy is doomed. Well, they're discussing it, but they put it in place for him. This is the policy that they set forward for him to follow. Obama is just an empty suit talking puppet teleprompter reader. He can't make any calls himself, and that's what we've seen time and time again. He's no JFK. He's not going to step out and make the call himself. That's why Kennedy got killed, was because he was making too many calls going against the establishment. And speaking out against the New World Order, speaking out against secret societies, against the military-industrial complex, trying to scale down Vietnam, not get us into a war that's going to pump $50 billion into that. But again, these are all the things that we see. Obama's foreign policy is doomed because they don't want America to exceptionalism anymore. And then, of course, number 7, the last one that they've released on this list, is the common go-to for elitist, and that is the climate change. Regular topic for many high-ranking discussions, not only the Bilderberg Conference in Denmark. People suspicious of elites call climate change a euphemism for the artificial deindustrialization of some nations, with the goal of keeping the global economy under control of transnational corporations at the expense of potential hubs of economic growth. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's shutting down coal plants, power plants. It's shutting down businesses that don't fit their narrative. It's Atlas Shrugged here. It's government intervention to control your business for the greater good. We have to pass noble laws. And it's always like the slimiest, disgusting little slugs that creep out of the shadows. And they're always wringing their hands together like, oh, we need a noble law. We need a noble law. This law will be so noble, it'll set everything right. Again, Rand warned us. Whenever you hear the term noble law, that means somebody is getting stepped on. And then Rush picked up that anthem and ran with it in the trees. So so they passed a noble law, and the trees are all kept equal by hatchet, axe, and saw. And now we're seeing the media come out, Weekly Standards reporting that the 5 Taliban people who were released in exchange for Sergeant Bowie Burngdial were some of the most dangerous. That's what they're saying. On behalf of the American people, But the president did not say who American exchange for Benghazi. 5 of the most dangerous Taliban commanders in U.S. custody. It's saying the Taliban has long determined Gitmo 5 to be released in order for peace talks to begin in earnest. The Obama administration has desperately sought to engage the Taliban as American forces are drawn down in Afghanistan, but those talks have gone nowhere at this point. So it's the Gitmo 5 that he released is what they're being called now, like the Oceanic survivors. This is crazy. Gitmo 5, they're going to be on Time Magazine, I guarantee you, probably Rolling Stone. You name it, all these leftist magazines are going to be talking about it. The Weekly Standard says it's profiled these jihadists on previously on multiplication on follows blows called from these accounts. 2 of the 5 have been wanted by the UN for war crimes because of their prowess. Joints deemed all 5 of them high risk to the U.S. and its allies. They are 5 top commanders in U.S. custody. It's not releasing the names of them, it doesn't look like. Well, let's go over to page 2 here. This is a new article breaking on Drudge out of the Weekly Standard. Mullah Mohammad Fazai, Taliban Army Chief of Staff. Fazai is wanted by the UN for possible war crimes, including the murder of thousands of Shiites. Fazai was associated with terrorist groups he currently opposing in the U.S. coalition forces, including Al-Qaeda, Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, and Harb-e-Islami Guadabanan. I'm sorry, folks, but this is just... he's top commander. He worked with Abu Hali, Iraq. He headed Al-Qaeda's main fighter unit in Afghanistan prior to 9/11 and is currently detained at Guantanamo. Mullah Nouri, senior Taliban military commander. Abu Hakawaka Flama, who knows? I can't pronounce these names. And you know what the sad thing is I guarantee you these 5, all before changing it to random letters to put their names in, they probably had, normal names like Cassius Clay. That was a cheap shot there, folks. I'm sorry. It's Sunday morning. Like I said, we're going to follow. This is 100% Drew. You get my thoughts, my opinions, agree with them, disagree with them, let me know. Jump in the chat box, Spreaker Web Radio, KineticHiFi.com. You can send us Facebook messages at Facebook.com/SitandSpinRadio. You can leave messages on our Spreaker page. You can send us emails here at KineticHiFi.com. There's places you can get in touch with us. Let me know. Agree with me, disagree with me. I want to hear it. Let me know what you think. Anyways, 5 top. They're now saying top dangerous people. Dangerous people. Dangerous, man. Dangerous. Let me play that Muhammad Ali clip. I actually like that one. I like Muhammad Ali. I did. I wasn't around when he was fighting, but I like watching his old clips. He was bad man. I like this speech. This is a very motivating speech.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
It's befitting that I leave the game just like I came in, beating a big bad monster who knocks out everybody and no one can whoop him. That's when that little Cassius Clay from Louisville, Kentucky came up and stopped Sonny Liston, the man who annihilated Floyd Patterson twice. He was going to kill me. But he hit harder than George. His reach was longer than George. He was a better boxer than George. And I'm better now than I was when you saw that 22-year-old undeveloped kid running from Sonny Liston. I'm experienced now, professional. Jaw's been broke, been knocked down a couple of times. I'm bad. Been chopping trees. I done something new for this fight. I done wrestled with an alligator. That's right. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Well, Obamacare's making medicine sick.
Fast. Last night, I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark.
Incredible.
Fast.
Incredible.
And you, George Foreman, all of you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him. All of you. I know you got him. I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
It's just I love that speech. It's a motivating speech. I mean, really arrogant, really over the top, but just it pumps you up. At least it does me. Anyways, and again, I'm not buying into this whole anti-Obama hate that we're seeing out of the right now that, he should have never released these, because I don't buy into the narrative of Al-Qaeda being our greatest threat. Al-Qaeda is ran by the globalist. There's no other way to say it. It's black and white, plain as day. Al-Qaeda is ran by the globalists. It's on record. We supported Al-Qaeda. We funded Al-Qaeda. We backed Al-Qaeda's play in Syria. We gave them weapons at the expense of Ambassador Stevens and 3 other American lives in Benghazi. Folks, Bin Laden didn't die in 2011. Bin Laden wasn't killed in a Navy SEAL raid with SEAL Team 6 in a crappy apartment in Pakistan. No, folks, Bin Laden died in December of 2001 of kidney failure. Bin Laden's been on ice for 10 years. Even longer. He's been on ice for the greatest fear. We're running from ghosts. We're hiding from fear, not from actual events, not from actual tangible, real things to be afraid of. We are hiding from ghosts, from images, from illusions. Yeah, Court Arrested Developments. Illusions, Michael. That's what this is. Fear is an illusion in the greater sense. There's always going to be things to be afraid of. The greatest fears come from ourselves, not from outside forces, not from eternal things that we can't control. Be afraid of what you can control. Be afraid of not doing enough to prepare yourself. Be afraid of not working hard enough, not building it. That's what you should be afraid of. Don't be afraid of some jihadi blowing you up in a plane. Don't be afraid of a terrorist attack. Don't be afraid of some mentally unstable person running you over with a car trying to shoot you. Those are things out of our control, and they're not to be feared. As JFK, or not JFK. I think about all the great things he said, but not as Roosevelt said. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. We don't have to fear things we can't control. And bad things are always going to happen. There's no way around it. There's always going to be evil in this world, and particularly when you have the global controlling elites perpetrating that evil, calling in that evil, doing demonic rituals at every major gathering, the Super Bowl, award ceremonies, Grammys, VMAs, you name it, Oscars, you name it, doing massive rituals to invoke demonic entities. You're going to have evil surrounding us. But be not afraid of it. Don't let it dictate your life. Be afraid of the New World Order. Be afraid of the tyranny that they bring down. Don't be afraid of Al-Qaedans blowing you up. That's the last thing you should be afraid of. And here we go. This is on Drudge right now. It's breaking there. Do we need to ban hammers? That's the question I think we need to ask now. It's coming out of San Francisco, CBS Local. Happened in Oakland. 3rd grade girl in Oakland. Mother accused of hammer attack on 3rd grade girl in Oakland school restroom. So it's time to ban the hammers. Elliot Rodger used his BMW to try to run people over, so I guess we should ban luxury cars. Need to ban luxury cars. Need to ban knives. Over half the victims in the Elliot Rodger massacre, whatever they want to call it, going crazy because he can't meet women event. Over half of the people killed in that were with knives. So do we need to ban the knife? Do we need to ban the knife? That's the question. And may have lost Spreaker. Not sure what's going on with that. Do apologize right now.